Oh, shoot. I had mic was on mute. Sorry, guys. Here I am chatting. Uh, anyways, let's go back to what I was talking about here, all by myself. RSI. I had a mentor many years ago that was talking to me about RSI. And he was showing me how, he has the 70 indicator here. And as price rallies up and peaks, if the RSI is above 70, then let me just write you guys a message. Then what happens is price will usually continue to stay at the highs until the next push up actually goes below 70. So if you take a look at the RSI, right, this first peak here, it was above 70, so went up again, still above 70, so went up again, still above 70, and now it's going up again, but this time it's below 70. So it's a lot weaker, all right? It's a lot weaker. And usually when that next rally up into a supply zone is below 70, it usually will drop at that point. Okay, that was something that he noticed. It's not always like that. It's not perfect, but it's very, very often like that. All right. So it's very interesting to notice those things. So I just wanted to point that out because I used to use the RSI after he taught me how he was using it. I thought it was very interesting, and so I would use it like that as well. But then I realized, what do I need an indicator for if I could just see it? If I can just see that on the chart, why would I need an indicator? So you remember when price came up here and it paused, and I said it hasn't contacted supply, it will likely continue higher. I mean, another one of the reasons besides the fact that supply wasn't contacted that I would expect that is because the momentum required to get price all the way up here was significant. Okay, so it's not just going to stop and drop. That momentum has to die down, right? Remember, many times I've talked about a ball hitting the ground, and the moves up get smaller and smaller until it dies. Well, then you just do the reverse of that. It starts to build, and then it starts to take off. So momentum requires time to slow down, and price acts in the same way. So when price is coming up here and it's peaking and peaking, each push up is being exhausted until eventually it just doesn't have the steam anymore, and then the expected move will be a reversal. Okay, and so you can just see that. You don't need an indicator to see that. If you're always using indicators, and the indicator will take your ability from you to just be able to see it naturally. So when you study price, you can just see it for yourself. So just by looking at this, I could tell that that was what was happening. All right, this exhaustion every time it pushes up. So that is what I'm seeing, and we are expecting a move down with the dollar. Could there be a push up? Yes. Is it what is likely? No. Okay, but it could happen. All right, just because of the dynamic of the charts. And again, we've gone through this many times. No trend, no trend. Okay, the lack of trend on any of the time frames makes it very difficult to predict exactly how price is going to play out. So for that reason, we can look at the evidence, and the evidence will suggest certain things will take place, but they're only going to be suggestions. It's not 100% guaranteed that it's going to happen. It's just very likely that it's going to happen. Okay, make this available. Make what available? What are you speaking of? I'm not quite sure what you're referring to. The RSI, is that what you're talking about? Let's see the Aussie. So we ended up with a weakness, which is a good sign. A good sign for a continued move lower. What have we been talking about? Very likely it's going to push lower, right? We got supply in play. It hasn't contacted demand, so why would it stop? If we look at the Aussie pairs, across the board, right? Aussie, Japanese yen, weakness, right? Weakness across the board. We had some supply get hit here, and then it pushed price to the downside. So overall weakness, we got a price to drop into some demand. So now we're getting a little bit of strength coming into the market. But across the board, when looking at the Aussies, the Aussie pairs, we're seeing weakness. Look at that, Aussie Kiwi. All right, we're getting a big rally in Kiwi right now. Strength in Kiwi, but Aussie's not very weak right this second. Aussie Kiwi was dropping. You see that? We had news come out. We had data, didn't we? From what I remember. Economic calendar here. This week. Let me see. So we had the on Tuesday we had the Kiwi. Yeah, they're not changing rates right now because they're already so low. They haven't changed it and moved it for quite some time. Look at that, Canadian dollar, 25.25%, and Bank of Japan still at 0.1%. That was yesterday, and what's happening today? Not much. 8:30 we had retail sales. Yeah, who cares? Okay, so that's all in terms of the data this week, the interest rates, but not much has been happening. Okay, but you see across the board, Aussie pairs are weak. Okay, all across the board, Aussie pairs are weak. So that lends to the idea that we will likely see this Aussie pair continue, the Aussie US dollar continue. Even with demand in play, it can easily be removed to facilitate a drop. Okay. And when we look at the Euro's holding quite well. So if the Euro was to hold while the Aussie drops, then that means the Euro is going to be stronger than the Aussie, correct? Yes. So let's go to the Euro-Aussie and see if there's any indication that the Euro-Aussie is going to rally. And look what we have here. So let's take a look at this chart, the 4-hour chart. All right. So we have a couple areas that need to be addressed here. We had an area here. And let's see. That. Okay, so we have this area here up here that was taken out. Right here. This area of supply. Let's just take care of that first. Here. Okay, so we had a major obstacle for price to head higher removed. And looking at the 4-hour chart, with these obstacles removed, we now have room for price to rally up to there. So far so good in terms of strong Euro and weak Aussie. We have this area here. Now, against conventional wisdom, what have I said? Multiple tests of an area does not make the area stronger. It's the exact opposite, right? Just like so many things in life, what you've been taught, the reality is the exact opposite of what you've been taught. And when it comes to trading, it's exactly the opposite of what's been taught. Multiple tests does not make something stronger, okay? There are times where it seems like that, but the only reason why price is dropping from those areas is not because there's a multiple test of a horizontal line that you happen to draw on the chart, okay? Has nothing to do with that line that you draw on the chart. Has everything to do with what the banks are doing, okay? So with that being said, this area being hit a couple times, that makes this area weaker. That opens up for a move higher, okay? And what do we have right here? We have an uptrend. So far, I looked at the 4-hour chart. I see compelling evidence to suggest that price is going to go higher. And I'm looking at the daily chart and I'm seeing compelling evidence to suggest that the chart is going to go higher. So far, so good. Upward trend, supply's been removed, contacting supply over here, multiple tests, this should be taken out, opens up a pathway for a move higher. So Euro-Aussie should be on the watch for a move up. Okay, that's what I'm seeing. Euro-Aussie should be on the watch for a move up. So I like to just turn this green on my watch list. So that means I'm expecting it to go higher. All right. So we'll leave it like that. Euro Japanese yen, we are looking at that one. Euro Kiwi. Gotta take that one off. Pound yen. Let's look at Pound Aussie. So if we're expecting the Aussie to get weak, then maybe the Pound Aussie should rally too, right? But then again, remember what we were talking about with the pound. It's very difficult to determine what's taking place on the pound because there's lack of trends and nothing on the chart that indicates that there's definitely going to be a rally. So if it was to rally, it would be based on the movement of the other markets. Okay. So I'm seeing some good evidence here to suggest that price is going to go higher. We have a nice upward trend. Institutions came in, filled in a lot of demand, a lot of buying orders, and they came in, they're pushing price up. We got a nice uptrend here on the daily chart. So that is good. So yeah, we are seeing good signs. The pound is going to be stronger than the Aussie. It's already showing us that that's the case, and it looks like that's what's going to continue. Okay, here's another supply area. It was contacted once, so guess what? There's cracks in the foundation. All right, there's cracks in the foundation. So just look at this as a massive wall. All right, that's how I like to look at it. I look at it as a massive wall. All right, and if you came in and you hit it hard with a sledgehammer, guess what? You're going to put cracks in that wall, right? So you hit it here, you're going to put cracks like that into the wall. So the next time you come with a sledgehammer, guess what? You're going to make it past that area where the cracks were. Okay? And then the more solid portion of the wall is going to be that last portion here, where the cracks didn't make it all the way through. But the next drive up will likely break through that wall. And once that wall is taken out, then there's nothing to stop price from moving higher. Okay? So I'm seeing good, strong evidence to suggest Pound Aussie is going to rally. Newly formed upward trend on the daily chart to help facilitate that. So far, so good. I'm seeing a lot of good stuff here. So pound and euro stronger than the Aussie. That's what I'm seeing. And we looked at the Aussie pairs in total, and we saw nothing but strong evidence to suggest Aussie pairs are going to be weak. Okay? So you see how we did that analysis? You see how we can come up with an indication of what is likely going to take place next week by examining the evidence on each chart and by just looking at the Aussie pairs to determine how weak the Aussie is going to be. So that would be one of my conclusions for next week. Okay? That the Aussie likely going to be weaker than the pound and the euro. Okay, where are we at? 45 minutes in? I think we're good. I think that's a good enough area to leave you guys. And then I'll be working on the Aruja reports. We got a lot more stuff coming. The Aruja report's going to take me, most of the weekend to do. Okay, so that's going to be good. And what else? What else we got? You guys have any questions? Anything specific that you guys want to check out before I let you go? Just let me know. I think we're good. Okay. That's pretty much it. Pound-Aussie. Let me see. Is there any other? The Euro-Aussie. Yeah. And Aussie Japanese yen. Aussie weak, but yen is also about to get strong, I think. Aussie weak. Let's look at the US dollar Japanese yen here for a second here. Let's see. Still sitting up at those highs. But if it drops, it's going to get strong. So Aussie weak, yen strong. That will help facilitate a drop. Yeah. And CAD yen, we already got the drop. And Euro yen, we looked at pound yen. We got that drop already. Okay. So I would leave the yen pairs for next week. I would leave them alone because there's nothing very evident about what's going to take place here. Originally, at the beginning of the week, when I first glanced at the market, I had some indication telling me that we were likely going to get a rally, but that wasn't the case. And a couple hours later, I realized, no, that's not the case. In fact, we got a drop, but this is not tradable. These pairs aren't tradable right now. Okay, you can make a really good move to the upside. We're still waiting for that momentum to kick in. This weekly on the verge of breaking. I mean, we gotta wait and see what happens there. Okay. Pound or euro, which one's stronger? Let me ask you a question. Why would that matter? What does it matter? Because you want to trade the pound, the euro pound? I don't like the euro pound at all. I couldn't tell you which one's going to get stronger. Nobody can tell you. Nobody can tell you. Okay? Nobody. Because the pound doesn't have anything to indicate what it's going to do. Okay? It's in a range. So it can go up, it can go down, it can do whatever. It will be driven by the other markets. So how much of it is going to be driven by the other markets? Is it going to be driven by the other markets by 70%, by 50%, by 115%? I couldn't tell you that because it's going to happen lifetime. So that's why nobody could tell you that. Because that's the reality of why the pound would move. All right? Anybody tell you any different, they're not being honest with you. Or they may think they're being honest with you, but they have the wrong perception of what's taking place in the market. Period. Hands down. Okay? I'm telling you the reality. So to tell you which one's going to be stronger, it's difficult. I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you. Okay? Right now it looks like the pound is weaker. But you see how it's only reacting to the downside because of the original weakness from the euro and the strength from the dollar. Okay? The dollar and the euro was moving and the pound didn't do anything. And then later on the pound catches up. So by how much and when, this all happens lifetime, so we wouldn't be able to know that. Okay? Alright. So that's good. Okay? I think we're good, guys. That's good for a Friday, 9:49. I got 10 minutes to break. Level 3, we will get started very soon, in 10 minutes or so. We're going to do some really in-depth analysis of oil, because I think oil in the near future is going to be an incredible trading opportunity for us. So we need to do some good, deep analysis on it to determine exactly how price is going to be playing out, or what it's very likely going to do, and that we will be able to plan out some trades. All right? So thanks again for coming. Have a great weekend, and we will see you next week. Level 3, we'll see you.